Dillian Whyte has once again reiterated his desire to face David Haye in the ring, despite the fact that David Haye retired after a knockout defeat, the second successive knockout defeat to Tony Bellew earlier on this year. That hasn't perturbed Dillian Whyte from calling the Haymaker out again. Now, Dillian Whyte is a fighter who has come up the hard way. He hasn't had things handed to him on a silver platter. He's had to grind and grind and grind and grind and look out for his own interests and basically elbow his way into the industry, strong arm his way into the industry. That's what Dillian Whyte has had to do. So this guy deserves a massive amount of credit for the hard work he's put in, not only in the ring and in training, but even at the negotiating table. Dillian Whyte is a smart man when it comes to negotiating. He handles his business. He's a very good businessman, at least when it comes to boxing. He's self-managed. For a self-managed guy to maneuver himself into because this wasn't a guy with a standout amateur career. This wasn't a guy who was groomed for stardom. And so for a guy of that kind of background to manage himself into a position where he's now a pay-per-view fighter and he's making millions per fight, hey, round of applause. Massive round of applause. Having said that, his desire to face David Haye seems like opportunism gone wrong to me. He still, he obviously looks at David Haye as a big payday. A guy he could definitely beat because Haye is shot to bits. And Dillian Whyte is thinking, I want that payday. I love this money. I think from the Anthony Joshua fight, he got a tiny taste of what a serious boxing payday is like. And then since then, he's built himself up. And then finally against Joseph Parker, he found out what a real big boxing payday is all about. And after that, he's thinking, I want more of it. And who can blame him? For a guy who's grinded as hard as Dillian Whyte has grinded, who can blame him for wanting to make the most out of this position he's in now with regards to, making as much money as possible. But calling out David Haye, Dillian Whyte has criticized David Haye for conning the public before. Rightly so. But if Dillian Whyte was to fight David Haye, that would be conning the public too. Let's be real. That would be Dillian Whyte participating in a fight which is conning the public. I don't think that's a road Dillian Whyte needs to go down. I know it would make money and this, that, and the other, but it's conning the public because Dillian Whyte is going to smash David Haye to pieces. David Haye is shot to bits. So that to me is a little cynical there from Dillian Whyte. And it would be a mark against his reputation because Dillian Whyte has a reputation as a tough guy. He's got a reputation as a guy who's taken on tough competition. He has a reputation as of being a guy who has beat the odds. And he did beat the odds. There was loads of people. I know everyone is talking about, Lucas Browne was washed up and over the hill and this, that, and the other after the fight. But there was loads of people before the fight picking Lucas Browne to beat Dillian Whyte. Loads of people. I wasn't one of them. But there was loads of other people who were picking Lucas Browne to beat Whyte. I picked Whyte to beat Lucas Browne. But plenty of people were picking him to lose. Against Joseph Parker, similar thing. Most people that I saw on my channel, they were picking Dillian Whyte to lose. I would say when it comes to the boxing hardcore, most of the boxing hardcore thought Dillian Whyte was going to lose that fight. So since he came through those fights, give the man credit. Yeah? And I think he has got a lot of credit, to be honest. There's always going to be some naysayers, but I think he has got a lot of credit from those wins. But taking on a David Haye, yeah, it's a step in the right direction financially, but that's in the short term. In the long term, if you are selling people snake oil, it can actually hurt you financially in the long term because it can damage your reputation and then people don't want to tune in to watch you fight no more. So potentially a David Haye fight could do that. Look, a David Haye fight is unlikely to happen unless there's some big personal grudge or beef between Whyte and Haye. I would imagine it's unlikely. But still, just the fact that Dillian Whyte is pursuing it still, seemingly talking about it, I just don't think that's a good look. It's not a good look. This is a finished man in boxing terms, David Haye. He's finished. His body is broken down. Pursuing a fight with a guy like that, I don't see, other than money, I don't see what you're going to get out of it. Yeah, you have a name on your resume, but hey, Trevor Berbick had Muhammad Ali's name on his resume. It didn't really mean much. Nobody took it seriously because it was Ali when he was completely washed up. No one really thought nothing of it. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm being short-sighted here. Maybe Dillian Whyte. I've already said Dillian Whyte is a smart guy when it comes to boxing business. He's very smart. And maybe he's even smarter than I'm giving him credit for. And perhaps him beating David Haye in the eyes of the casuals, even after David Haye being knocked out twice by Bellew, in the eyes of the casuals, maybe him beating Haye would still go a long way. Maybe it would still do a lot to elevate his status. Maybe it would, maybe it would. So I'm kind of conflicted here with my points of view. I can entertain the other point of view where people would say, no, there's still enough casuals out there who are still gullible enough that Dillian Whyte beating David Haye would mean a lot to them. And it would, just fame is an associative thing. Dillian Whyte's name being associated with a David Haye fight helps build Dillian Whyte's public profile up. So, I can see both sides, but I just feel like it's a purely business thing. And given the fact that Dillian Whyte has criticized David Haye for conning the public before, that's why I think it's a bit hypocritical for him to be now calling out David Haye for a fight. That's all I'll say. Anyway, drop your comments in the comment section below and let me know how you feel. It's that man, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.